See, no inconvenience whatsoever.
Everett must be paranoid.
We all are. The Illuminati is getting a taste of its own medicine.
Has he made any progress on the Grey Death virus?
Your uplink provided the missing encryption key. He has been able to complete the work that Tracer Tong began.
I must see him at once.
He is downstairs in the lab.
Welcome back to Let's Play Deus Ex. Last episode, which was a while ago, we completed the Templar Cathedral mission for Morgan Everett, and he has been so thankful for us for completing that he has let us into his house. And you might notice for half a second that the location actually does come up on the screen, but because they've programmed a Tomway's speech to happen straight away, you don't actually get to see the text. So what it says is Morgan Everett's house, somewhere in Paris. And, well, it is very nondescript, I'll agree, but it wouldn't be too hard to find. You just look for the roads with very straight edges. But, of course, it is pretty hard to navigate your way in Paris, considering it's always nighttime. But anyway, so Icarus is sending us some very well-founded warnings here, but we're going to ignore him because, well, he's just a robot and he doesn't know shit. So we'll just rob the house here. Aquarium hatch, that sounds very useful. Good stuff. And lots of money, because God knows we need more money.
You missed dinner, but help yourself to a snack.
We have a very passive-aggressive maid here.
Do not to disturb Lucius de Beers.
And she lets away with a bit of information here, so we're going to press her for it.
Who's Lucius de Beers?
You do not know him?
Someone who works for Everett?
It is not for me to discuss Mr. de Beers.
Why? Is there something to hide?
He is a friend of Mr. Everett's and very sick. You must not disturb him or inquire about him.
Alright, so she's let slip there that there is a dude in the house who is working with Morgan Everett. So we're going to try and find him and press him for questions, because we wouldn't be much of a cop if we didn't. And to be honest, we're not much of a cop anyway, but that is through no fault of our own. And Morgan Everett's house has a rather rocking aquarium, and also an awesome cat, and quite a rockin' soundtrack as well. So Morgan Everett's is a place you'll want to spend quite a lot of time in for these reasons, but obviously we're not going to. It is rather an ephemeral pleasure being inhabited by Morgan Everett, and and I think I fucked my words up there.
Good news, huh? Looks like we might pull this thing off.
Alex, what are you doing here?
Tong sent me. He wanted me to help with the decryption.
Looks like Everett has it all figured out.
Listen quickly. Tong doesn't trust the Illuminati. He sent me here to keep an eye on Everett.
I see. How about the triads? Is the truth going to hold?
Last I heard, but I guess we have other things to worry about now, huh? I'll keep you in touch through your info link. I'll try my best to keep you informed.
Yes, do exactly that. Keep me informed.
Yeah, so it looks like Alex has been sent here under the command of Tracer Tong to sort of watch over the Illuminati and make sure nothing is out of the ordinary. And this is some very quick flowing water here in the plant area, whatever you call that. A garden, maybe. So yeah, it seems Icarus and Tracer Tong both have their suspicions of the Illuminati, and why not, really? There's quite a lot to be mysteriously mysterious when you're in the Illuminati. Today, Toby, I'm afraid I'll be in the lab for quite a while, concentrating on this most interesting new development. If you need to access the security system, this week's code is Pinchin. We should be especially wary now with this recent turn of events. I imagine Bobby is feeling the first signs of apprehension, and he tends to overreact when that happens. And if Lucius continues to complain, you may access his life support with the same password at the central computer. Please don't raise his temperature more than a degree, as I don't want him thawing out. Oh, it seems like Lucius de Beers is, like, on his deathbed or something. Or he's been cryogenically frozen. Well, there's... well, good luck getting your microscope. But yeah, it's very curious to me. Maybe we should try and find where he's hanging out. We have a big door here, so maybe he's hiding behind here. Now the code is 8001, but I'm not meant to know that, so I'm going to use multi-tools, because I'm not a cheating bastard. Oh, before we check that out, we're probably going to want to talk to Everett first, just in case it fucks up with any of the dialogue trees. You're going to have to trust me on that one. The code is inside the computer that Alex was working on, so I just can't be bothered hacking it at the moment. And we don't need these augmentations, so we don't need to open this up. Weapon mods are always a good thing. Luckily, Everett doesn't seem to care too much that we're breaking in and stealing all his shit. He'll probably miss his money, but that's not my issue. So, we're going to put these weapon mods on the pistol, and open up the aquarium hatch and take a little bit of a dive with the fish. The fuck? There we go. And I like that they have the cat hanging around the aquarium, like trying to eat the fish and shit. It's a really, oh, we don't even need anything in here. It's a pretty subtle, little detail, and I like it. But anyway, I'll stop blithering on about shit, and we'll talk to Morgan Everett in the fresh.
So this is where the Illuminati ended up after centuries of conspiring to rule the world.
The conspiracy is about to begin again, JC, between you and me. Nicolette was wise to bring us together. Wise like her mother. The most effective partnerships, like Beth's and mine, arise from mutual necessity.
I came to talk about the Grey Death. Atanwe says you cracked the virus.
A trivial matter. Page added nothing to the core design. However, what we need to construct is a carbon ROM module, not exactly a vaccine.
Can it be done without a universal constructor?
No, we need time on a UC. But I know where we might find one, and also gain access to the U.S. military networks.
U.S. military?
To stop Icarus from completely destroying the Daedalus AI. Daedalus is a design of mine. It replaced the old Echelon 3 network.
Echelon? The surveillance system for the United Nations. So Daedalus was an MJ-12 tool and rebelled?
More of a pattern-matching error. It classified Majestic 12 as a terrorist group, alongside the NSF and CLoWnn.
And alongside the Illuminati, right? Are you sure Daedalus is your ally?
What matters to us is that it opposes Majestic 12. We must help it destroy their intelligence apparatus. But that will require the military networks. I have already contacted Gary Savage of X-51.
The former Area 51 scientists, are they still camped out at the Vandenberg Air Force Base?
They are close to completing a UC, and have the kind of connection Daedalus will need.
Sounds like my pilot and I should head to Vandenberg.
Yes, I took the liberty of radioing him. Here is the key to the helipad stairway. The door is in the foyer where Atanwe revived you. Good luck. I will be in contact.
Okay, so Everett pretty much tells us to get the fuck out of his house, so we're going to ignore him as usual because we're JC Denton, and we're going to go check out some other stuff. Yes. So, let's go check out this room back here and see what we can find. You may not be able to see shit, but there is a book here, and also a nano key and bioelectric cell. These are all very useful items. Project Morpheus Notebook 8B. Morpheus has been moody of late, and I have so far been unable to determine the proximate cause of this change in behaviour. This is a problem with invariable systems. At arbitrary levels of sophistication, minute perturbations become unquantifiable. Is personality nothing more than the tidal change in a nonlinear system? And if so, what is the moon? What force shapes these tides? Morpheus could tell me, if only Morpheus could model its own behaviour, but this would require a system orders of magnitude more complex to execute a simulation of its own identity. Oh, we're getting into some pretty serious technical shit here. I may resort to a full battery of input analysis tests to be compared against previous baseline tests, but I must find myself strangely reluctant to do so. At this level of development, Morpheus could be cognizant enough to find the experience unpleasant. I do not know why the word occurs to me, as it anthropomorphizes what is obviously not human, but what may not so obviously be alive. Morgan Everett. So, it seems this blue floating head here is Morpheus, and he's not going to be teaching Keanu Reeves Kung Fu, but rather he is going to give us a lot of rambling conversation. So in fact he is actually quite like Morpheus of The Matrix, but of course that Morpheus is also named after the Morpheus that this one is named after, being something I'm probably going to edit in later because I don't know right now. Alright, gung ho.
J.C. Denton, 43 years old, no residence, no ancestors, no employer, no...
How do you know who I am?
I must greet each visitor with a complete summary of his file. I am a prototype for a much larger system.
What else do you know about me?
Everything that can be known.
Alright, so Morpheus is quite the cheeky bastard, actually, and his function is to tell everyone about their own lives. But we're going to try and press Morpheus for some more useful information.
Go on. Do you have proof about my ancestors?
You are a planned organism, the offspring of knowledge and imagination, rather than of individuals.
I'm engineered, so what? My brother and I suspected as much while we were growing up.
You are carefully watched by many people. The unplanned organism is a question asked by nature and answered by death. You are another kind of question, with another kind of answer.
Are you programmed to invent riddles?
I am a prototype for a much larger system. The heuristics language developed by Dr. Everett allows me to convey the highest and most succinct tier of any pyramidal construct of knowledge.
Right, so Morpheus here seems to be giving us some quite juicy details on the backstory of J.C. Denton, and also, if you think about what he's saying metaphorically, it can also be applied to the nature of the game itself, and the sort of satire that Warren Spector was trying to include on the state of video games. But don't take my word for it.
How about a report on yourself?
I was a prototype for Echelon 4. My instructions are to amuse visitors with information about themselves.
I don't see anything amusing about spying on people.
Human beings feel pleasure when they are watched. I have recorded their smiles as I tell them who they are.
Some people just don't understand the dangers of indiscriminate surveillance.
The need to be observed and understood was once satisfied by God. Now, we can implement the same functionality with data mining algorithms.
Electronic surveillance hardly inspires reverence. Perhaps fear and obedience, but not reverence.
God and the gods were apparitions of observation, judgment, and punishment. Other sentiments toward them were secondary.
No one will ever worship a software entity peering at them through a camera.
The human organism always worships. First, it was the gods. Then, it was fame, the observation and judgment of others. Next, it will be the self-aware systems you have built to realize truly omnipresent observation and judgment.
You underestimate humankind's love of freedom.
The individual desires judgment. Without that desire, the cohesion of groups is impossible. And so is civilization. The human being created civilization, not because of a willingness, but because of a need to be assimilated into higher orders of structure and meaning. God was a dream of good government.
So Morpheus here is rather well, as you'd expect from a machine, cold, but it seems he's also rather cynical and doesn't think very much of humans.
Don't forget to say hi to your friend from UNATCO, Mr. Jacobson.
Already bumped into him.
Very thoughtful of Tom. My own computer technician. I suppose he can help me prepare a comlink for Daedalus. You saw a piece of Echelon 3 in Beth's chateau. We salvaged some of the hardware. Surveillance used to be daemon-based. Daedalus is more distributed. A blip of his code runs on every communication device on the planet. If we control communications, we can organize and the other side cannot. Lack of organization is exactly what has plagued X-51.
Yep. So, it seems that Everett doesn't want to spill the beans on Morpheus, but that's okay, because we've pretty much figured out what he is for ourselves. Now, Morpheus is pretty angry sort of character, and he does raise some interesting questions about the existence of humanity.
I am not permitted to discuss Mr. De Beers.
Good, because I didn't ask you to. But you might find that inside Morpheus's little holding cell there, we were given if I can remember how to do this, here we go, a mirror lock mechanism key. I guess I could have found it in here, right there. Yeah, good one. Alright, so where have we found a mirror in this house? I wonder. Oh, right there. Ooh, this is interesting. What could be behind the mirror? Yeah, some secret shit. Alright. Let's dive in head first and not worry one bit about what could be in here. Beth, feel free to visit with Morpheus while I am away. The code is 8001. I'm sure you will have many interesting things to discuss, and pay no attention to Lucius. He complains at the slightest provocation. Well, I would too if I were in a robot suit. Although, it's more like a coffin, but that is purely allegorical.
What are you doing back here? Denton, right?
Yeah. You're alive in that thing?
I am conscious. Tell Everett I am cold. He keeps me so cold.
Who are you? Do you mind if I ask?
The Supreme Enlightened. The leader of the Illuminati.
I thought Everett was a leader.
I am the leader. I brought the Illuminati up through the 20th century to the height of their power. I had presidents and premiers eating out of my hand. I am the one. Our decline is the result of my own. All we need is for me to get back on my feet. What did Everett tell you?
Nothing.
I merely await certain technologies. Then I will be restored. Everett has sworn it. He promised me.
Well, it looks like Lucius is not really in the best of states, though, to be fair, he does seem like a bit of an attention whore. Tell Everett that Lucius De Beers is cold, alright. So, it seems like Everett's got the previous leader of the Illuminati locked up in his bathroom and kept in cryogenic storage. Well, I reckon we're gonna have to go talk to him about that. But it seems like Everett's really just trying to forget about Lucius, and that's a bit sad. I guess he's, because he doesn't seem quite old enough for Everett to have really worked with him, considering Everett's only, what, in his 50s. I reckon that there's probably something else to it, like he's suffering from a terminal illness or something, and that's why he's been frozen.
Lucius De Beers says he's cold.
I know. 18 degrees Celsius, to be exact.
Don't you think that's a little chilly?
I keep his metabolism low so he will last. He is a good advisor, a one-man think tank, so to speak.
He said he's the leader of the Illuminati.
A harmless fantasy. He also thinks I'm going to restore his body.
You aren't?
The technology has been around for decades, but he does not need to know that.
So, tell Lucius that Everett does not intend to revive him with a question mark. Should we really have Lucius with that hanging over his head? I mean, he already seems to be suffering, though to be honest, 18 degrees, and he's complaining it's cold? Fuck. 18 degrees is positively bliss, but whatever, if he thinks that's too cold, he must be from Sudan or something. Fucking Lucius. You can't give him anything without him complaining. Although, we read a few data cubes where that actually was the case.
Just cleaning up.
Yeah, well, you can clean up your fucking face. Now, let's go and tell Lucius what's going on. Now, these computer terminals that you see strewn about Morgan Everett's place, they control all these cameras, but the cameras don't actually fucking do anything, so there's no real point in opening them up.
Where is he? I will remember these small injustices. When I am revived, I will remember.
Now, we've got a hard moral decision to make. Do we put Lucius in constant agony by telling him he will never amount to anything but a robotic coffin man, or do we tell him that Everett will be here as soon as he can to fix this up? And obviously, we don't like people living in complete and utter horror, so we're going to tell him that he'll be here soon.
Everett will be here as soon as he can.
It's so cold. Oh, it's so cold.
That's not that bad, buddy. Could be worse. Alright, so we can also hack into this security terminal here. And we can shut down Lucius's support system. And that would effectively kill him instantly. And while that serves no real purpose for the rest of the game, it will give us quite a snarky comment by Morgan Everett telling us not to kill his friends. Well, why not? I guess I could do that and just edit it in.
What did I tell you? That was my former colleague, my friend. I know he wasn't doing very well and he was in pain, but I wanted to keep him alive. Stop messing with my equipment and get to the helicopter.
Now, we want to get the hell out of here because, to be honest, Morgan Everett's house has a peculiar smell about it.
It would be rather serendipitous if Bob Page invented something Everett could not figure out.
Indeed. That is quite a nice jacket you've got there. You could go see Walton Simons about that and have a jacket off. Oh, that sounded pretty bad. Alright, now, fuck it. We're going to get out of here to go see our good friend Jock.
Just got refueled. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, that sounds rather sexy, but there's a corpse here which we can throw about like your average papier-mâché clown. I don't even know what that means. And let's go talk to this guy about why there would be a dead man in the house that is owned to Morgan Everett. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Huh? Is there a problem?
Just looking around.
I checked her out. She's fueled up and ready to go.
Is something wrong?
Huh? No, I said I checked her out. You want the thing to run, right? If you're gonna cross the ocean.
Of course. Better safe than sorry.
Now, odd mechanic.
I fixed her right up for you.
I'm not quite sure why he's speaking like this. I'm a mechanic. So, that's rather interesting to me, so we're going to go talk to Everett about this. It seems like a Tomway is set to despawn whenever you walk into the helicopter, which is, well, the helipad. I'm not sure why that is, but It happens every single time. I guess he's no longer required to be in the map, but whatever, I'm not sure. So we do have quite a ways to run to get back to Everett. Let's stop off and say bye to Alex before we leave.
You won't be hearing from Tong for a while. He had to leave Hong Kong.
Why? The triads?
He said he had some business to take care of. I don't know. He didn't look so good.
Sick?
Either that or something was bothering him. The last thing he said to me, it was something about all the machines in his lab being useless. And then he cut off the connection.
Useless for what?
It was just an outburst. I don't know, but he wants me to wait here for instructions. JC, Tong is serious about Everett. He wants you to be careful.
Well, Everett can suck my nuts. What? I mean Tong. Ah, fuck it, whatever.
Hey, about your mechanic at the helipad. Something about him seemed a little off.
Yes, Pierre. I haven't been able to reach him. What's wrong?
Pierre? He sounded American to me.
Pierre has never been to America. Who's up there? He's not one of my people.
I don't know, but he shouldn't be working on the chopper.
You better get back to the helipad on the double. That man must be eliminated. One spy could wreck everything we're working for.
I won't let him get away.
Wow, would it really kill you, Everett, to actually fucking do something? It is your house after all. Maybe you shouldn't have sent Atomway home early. Kill the phony mechanic who infiltrated Everett's estate. Right, and God forbid there's an American called Pierre. That's completely an impossibility. But we're gonna go deal with him Dragon Tooth style, so we're gonna stick this right up his ass, and he's going to scream for better tomorrows.
Alright, start talking. Who sent you?
I don't know what you mean.
You got a funny way of talking. Pierre?
It wasn't me. He was dead when I got here.
You've got 5 seconds to tell me who you work for. 1. 2.
No one, man. No one.
Well, he can be dealt with as quickly as you like. That guy was a fuck stain. Let's go tell Everett all about what just went down.
What's that computer system for? The one with the blue face for an interface.
Oh, nothing, nothing. Just something for passing the time and amusing guests.
It has access to quite a bit of information, including information about me.
An old prototype, for Daedalus, actually. It doesn't really handle surveillance in its current state.
So you have your own private echelon system.
Mr. Denton, your pilot is waiting.
So, we'll save here before getting in the helicopter, because God knows anything could happen.
I talked to Savage. Sounds like Vandenberg may be in some trouble. Get in.
You better double-check your systems. That mechanic was an imposter.
Yeah?
Everett doesn't know him. What did he work on?
The fuel system. Now that you mention it. Wait a minute. This isn't right.
What isn't?
Oh my God, JC, a bomb!
A bomb?
It's remote controlled. Hold on.
Get out of there.
Just have to pull this wire. There. Relax. I disabled the detonator. We can drop the thing in the Atlantic on the way back to the States. You make a good detective, JC. Ready to get out of here?
Well, thank God that bomb was dealt with easily. Let's go.
Let's go.
Alright, so this will be the end of the episode here. I'll meet you back in Vandenberg whenever the fuck I feel like it. Alright. Thanks for watching. See you next time.